Joining me now from the Texas-Mexico border, three people who've been on the front lines of this crisis: former DEA agent Derek Maltz, former border chief Rodney Scott, and former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Chad, I'll go with you first. Without Title 42 in effect, it's been a hot topic, Chad. How bad can the border crisis get? What kind of numbers could we be looking at?
Well, thanks for having me on, Dan. I think what we see, even with Title 42, is a crisis on our southern border that's been going on for 14 months. So once they lift Title 42 at the end of May, you're going to see a surge, not only to that border, but you're going to see a surge of individuals now in Border Patrol facilities and houses that are already overwhelmed. So as bad as the crisis has been for the past 14 months, I think Title 42 in many ways has masked the real crisis. And so you're going to see a surge come the 23rd of May for the next several months. And Border Patrol, or I would say this administration, really has no strategy, no plan in place to address the crisis. All they do is want to look at this as a processing issue and trying to process more and more of these individuals into the country, which is exactly the wrong strategy. That will just further incentivize folks to approach that border and cross illegally.
Derek, I'll go to you next. Your experience in the DEA, this fentanyl crisis, this isn't just a border problem, although it's coming in from there. This is a nationwide problem that starts at the border, isn't it?
Right, Dan, and thanks for having me. I would say that DPS and also the Border Patrol are American heroes. I just witnessed what they're doing every day to save lives. Like the Yuma County Sheriff said, every sheriff in America is a border sheriff. With the fentanyl spikes in America now, the DEA administrator had to issue a recent public emergency because of the mass poisonings that are happening in cities around America. That's more than a couple of overdoses or poisonings, as we call them, Dan, in one location at the same time. And families are devastated. It's all coming right from here, right over our shoulder, into our backyards, and our kids and our future generation is being destroyed as the Chinese transnational criminals work with the cartels, and they're making billions of dollars.
Chief, it's not just fentanyl and breaking the law at the border by crossing illegally. It's also, I mean, this is disgusting, but the sex trafficking down there. How bad is that problem from your experience at the border?
You know, it's a serious problem, and it gets worse right now because with the massive numbers crossing the border, the only way agents can really identify sex trafficking victims is through interviewing them. Pull them aside, talking to them, seeing different types of behavior. And they simply don't have time. When they're arresting 8,000 people a day and Washington, D.C. is screaming at them to process them as quickly as possible and release them into the U.S., those interviews are not taking place. So the numbers are a little bit, they're misleading right now. We have no idea how many people are being trafficked. We got a briefing earlier today that they're starting to see colored wristbands and different markings on individuals that identify they belong to a specific cartel and they're going to a specific location. Those are some indicators right there that it's getting worse every day. And when Title 42 goes away, even just the messaging of that, you're going to see, we're already seeing thousands, but more than we've ever seen before. You're going to see millions.
So disturbing. Gentlemen, thanks for your service to the country. Thanks. We really appreciate it.